You're watching Equine VIP because if it's about horses, we cover it. In this episode, we're going to be introducing you to Susan Treabess. Susan is an elite equestrian with an inspiring story to tell. Let's go meet Susan and learn more. Well, Susan, I am so happy you made time out of your busy schedule to talk with Equine VIP. Thank you. Well, let's start with the beginning. You started riding when you were 3 years old. Is that right?
Yeah. That was my first ride, was a pony trail ride. And my parents said I was smitten with horses, from the get-go, and sort of snowballed from there. Yeah,
it's crazy to this.
Yeah, I didn't ever think that it would come to this. Going to represent your country and competing with, I can't even remember the number of nations that are going to, 18 some odd nations that are going to be in Kentucky. I mean, this is a big deal. Not very many people do this.
Yeah. Tell me what a para-equestrian is.
Well, para means parallel. And so it's essentially parallel being disabled versus able-bodied. And so they came up with the term para-equestrian as, the disabled athletes riding horses. And so in the world of international para-equestrian sport, there's only currently one recognized discipline, and that's para-dressage.
Yes.
And it's for elite athletes that have disabilities, and we're all graded, what's called graded, on our disabilities. So I was born without my left hand, and so I have the slightest of disabilities as far as the grades go, meaning that I'm a grade 4, where a grade 1 is severely disabled, typically cannot walk and has limited movement, in their body and whatnot. And so we each compete in our grades with our peers, and there are tests made for the specific grades. And so the tests differ depending on the abilities of the riders. And that's how, in international competition, you ride a test, usually a team test, an individual test, and a freestyle to music, all within your grade.
Okay.
And then you medal within your grade. So,
well, I have to ask, did anybody in your journey say no?
There were, of course, people that were negative. The negative responses were probably the things that motivated me the most. My dream team starts with my life mentor. She's taught me literally probably everything that I know about horses, and that's Ellen Eckstein,
who we've interviewed.
You have it with Jane Smiley. And then Dennis Callan, who found Moneypenny for us, which is the horse that I ride, and also really is the one who encouraged me to take this international step. He really shoved me off the cliff. And then most recently in 2009, I started working with Stephen Peters, which I think just the name alone says enough.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that meeting with Dennis.
Yeah.
Tell me how you met.
It's an interesting story. I was down in LA, and Dennis saw me in the crowd and saw that I had one hand, and he actually came up to me during lunch and said, I understand that you're quite a good rider. Have you ever thought about becoming an international para-equestrian? I didn't know anything about para-equestrian at the time, and I didn't realize that they were elite athletes.
You went, where do I sign up?
Pretty much, yeah. It was immediate, although it took us quite a while to find a horse.
Yeah. What kind of horse do you need?
You have to have an FEI international quality horse. It doesn't necessarily need to be Grand Prix, although many of the horses are, but it at least needs to be Pre-St. George or higher, because you have to have the quality in the movements and the gaits at international level, FEI Pre-St. George, in order to be competitive in FEI para-equestrian tests. I really consider Moneypenny one of those once-in-a-lifetime horses where there was just an immediate connection. And what's unbelievable is that you can have a hard day, and then the next day can be the best day you've ever had.
That's what I love about horses too.
Yeah.
Now, I fractured my wrist a couple years ago, and have plates and everything, and I know gathering the reins for me is hard.
Yeah.
How do you make that work for you?
Well, it takes practice because I use the prosthesis, and I cannot feel the reins. I practice. I mean, I can't tell you the amount of time I've walked around the arena just dropping the reins and picking them up.
Now, you have a blog.
Yes, so my blog is www.susanandmp.blogspot.com. And you can also get to my blog through my website, which is just www.susantreabess.com.
Super.
As a professional and also, a U.S. team rider and international rider, you cannot do this without sponsors.
Yeah.
We're sponsored by Custom Saddlery. And then we also are sponsored by a joint supplement company called Lubricin. Adequan has helped us this year. Summit Equine Nutrition has helped us. And
the dream team just gets bigger.
I know. There are so many days when you think, I just can't do it anymore. This is too much. The anxiety, the pressure, all that. But, having that strong support team, I always say it's like it takes a village.
Well, we look forward to learning more and following your career.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Susan.